to use the recording for any kind of promotion or education. You just want to show somebody, hey, look, I was talking with so-and-so. We were on the same screen. Did you notice how they agreed with me? You need some backup. You need somebody to, some validation or something like that. So this is the real thing. There's no music. Nothing dances across the screen. I don't have a show voice. I don't go, and now, live from Waco, Texas. I don't do that. And it has caught some people by surprise because they happened to be. And then they came back and they didn't see that warning. And they're just like, so are we doing this? I'm like, yes. And then I go, there's a rectangle. It's red. It's coming up on 1 minute up there. So we got everything. They're like, oh my goodness. I was taking my last bite. Hey, I do always encourage hydration. It's just good at every age and stage. So as much as you need and want, even if you have to leave the room because you were like, I should have brought that on so that I could show it. Please do. Well, I remember one day a gentleman was sitting in his chair, comfortable at home, and he goes, hey, honey, come over here. We'll share an earbud. You can get on screen with me because this is really interesting. And I was like, I am so glad that people treat this like a picnic table, which I do too, because when I was a hired caregiver in people's individual homes, I became a more normal part of the day or the week. And I liked that because I could see families relaxing and saying, I'm only going to be gone for a little while. And I'm like, I would absolutely text or call you in a moment. If there was any question or any concern, please feel that you are still here. You've got 1 foot inside the door while you're gone. And I was always really proud of them when they would go, okay, this is everything's fine. I'm just like, you've taught me well. Go ahead and take a breather, maybe step out of the car in a place you don't have to be. And just watch some leaves fall or something, So that leads me to Kathleen, who is, I love that it's called Manhattan Beach. And there's always stories behind things. I have no clue whether you know about your community's choice of a name or even Manhattan, if that is indigenous people, a reworking of a word that was spoken to the original settlers or something. But from Manhattan Beach, California, Kathleen, I'm glad you're here. And so is, get it right, Randy, and his last name is spelled like Holland, Molland. Randy Mullen said, oh, I know Kathleen. He was one of the ones that I thought, oh, it seems like he would be a delight coming on screen. Don't know if he wants to, but I've just had opportunity to meet him in texting, and also I attended a Zoom that he was co-hosting, and I thought, oh, maybe he'd like to come in. Maybe there's a story about Grandpa that he would love to share or something. And he goes, I will sometime, but say hello to Kathleen from me. So that worked out wonderfully. I had no clue. So anyway, Kathleen, inform us, make us a lot smarter by letting us know what you do, what you can do, why. Anything else that you want to say? You can mention pets, anything. You go right ahead.
Oh, thank you, Christine. I was always been intrigued by you because you used your experience, all of your compassion and your wisdom working with people in an older age group, right?
Yeah.
And from there, you were always listening. So I have two businesses. My Second 50 Financial is where I'm working with people in the second 50 years. Most of them are 55 to 85. So that was always about helping them get their income going, get everything organized, feel really secure about their future. But I noticed something was not good in their lives. And, it was really remarkable to me that people could be successful and financially secure and still not be in a place where they're ready to enjoy this time of life. And I know, Christine, your focus is on getting people prepared to manage things that come, which I think is extremely important. Mine is about, all right, you guys, we are the first generation to be aging really into an unprecedented time in history. And what I would like to share with them is that we have tools, techniques, health resources beyond our wildest dreams, things that didn't even exist 5 years ago. So I want to help this age group become more aware of those and meet other big thinkers who are looking a little bit more into the future, and then see what's possible that wasn't possible even 5-10 years ago. And there's a lot. So that's the Second 50 movement, and that's the new community that's forming.
I'm glad that you mapped another gap, that you noticed it, and it wasn't just a crack in the sidewalk and you're like, well, got to step over this. You're just like, no, that doesn't need to be overlooked. You don't have to wait and go, well, you'll figure it out eventually, and then you can come over here and then we can get on with things. So I'm so grateful that people do stop and pay attention. How kind of you to say those things. It is what I learned from the families when I was serving in their homes. And here were families who either had a sigh of regret, and it was regret that maybe they hadn't kept a lot of relationships in their own life, and maybe they themselves were 60s or getting closer to 70. And it's like, who is going to take care of me when I'm old? Which is actually the title of a book that was written a while ago. Didn't know that, but those exact words are spoken in confidence in the home. Or it was a sigh of relief. So it was either regret or relief. It's like, as we have walked this journey with my older loved one, I have mapped things, I have documented, I have spoken with others, I have made some plans. And I'm just going, wow, I am learning from people who are willing to be really honest and open. They didn't have to share that with me at all. And yes, I do want to pass that along, to anyone. So Kathleen, it has been said to me more than once, most recently by a professor at the local university. I listened to his co-presentation with a gal at the Chamber of Commerce. And afterwards, I asked him 2 questions. And he goes, first of all, crickets. I don't even know what that would be about or why, which is what I said to him was, since you work with high school students from the college level of preparing them to go into needed positions that are just empty and begging, what do you think about a caregiving, aging, all the things that are just generally part of longevity as a course at the high school level? And these are some reasons why. And he goes, I'm just hearing crickets. He goes, aging just isn't a sexy enough subject. I don't see anybody ever wanting to take that as an elective. And I said, okay, you are a professor of accounting, and you just told me that my subject just doesn't sparkle, it's like, Someone would be like, accounting. Why are you taking accounting? Because it's going to be a good job, or because I want to be prepared for my own finances. All the things that he said during the presentation. I truly appreciate his candor. He said the right thing to me. Have you discovered something that helps people go, oh, I love this idea. I really want to get on board, and I want to get on board now. I don't want to wait until, there's kind of a little crisis. Who can plan crises? It's only going to be a little crisis. Then I will, the shot over the bow, then I'll do something about it. Is there something that helps what you're doing just sparkle for people so they're like, I'm getting into it right now. Like I don't want to wait until I have more numbers attached to my birth date. So, Kathleen, can you give me some advice?
In a nutshell?
Sure.
So
a coconut shell, if you need to. Okay.
Nice big one. Okay. Basically, there's so much uncertainty. So it's not just around what's happening to us when we age, it's the world, right? And in the professions I'm in, I see a lot of fear, a lot of lack of understanding, and a lot of just questioning, what kind of future are we going into right now? And then you bring aging in on top of it with the chronic diseases of aging and all the things that you work with, right? So you put all that together, and what I want to do, this is how I view it, with the Second 50 movement, I want them to think about reshaping their whole vision of this future. So I understand that we have to get prepared because my financial business is all about that. But I want them to think about the potential for a bigger, better, longer future because of two things. One, artificial intelligence. So we have tremendous, unbelievable new capabilities and tools coming. And I know that the majority of my generation, because I'm a baby boomer, we have lots of wealth and wisdom maybe, but we don't have experience working with these tools. And the second thing is regenerative medicine. So the ways that we are going to be able to work with the chronic diseases of aging are changing dramatically. I mean, it's really, really, it's going to seem like miracles are coming. And I'm in a couple of big groups, global groups that study this. One of them is Abundance 360. So we look with global scientists and, leaders. So what I want to do is just educate, inspire this Second 50, this older age group, to first of all, start to think about their future in a slightly different way. You can't ignore facts. Planning and preparation is very important, but the ability to use AI and to find out more about these resources and these breakthroughs that are already here, I think could then change the conversations that you even have with your family, even with your grandkids, because you are starting to participate in an unbelievable world. And I think in the older generation, Christine, that people don't feel that they have the time or the capability to really look into this. Most people I talk to are like, oh my God, AI, but we have simplified things. We have created tools. We have created some very easy training. And my thought is, if I can get enough people in this older age group to come together that are curious, open-minded, big thinkers, they could really start to shape a different future. And that's a long, long-winded answer to say, I think they could connect to the younger generation so much more. And I think another thing that's coming is reverse mentoring. So we're always talking about the older people mentoring the young. I think when you're using AI and doing things, the young people can be amazing working with the older people. And it could be a lot of fun. So
enriching for both. You were saying reshaping personal vision of personal future, like just reshaping instead of, Let's see, getting old. Oh, yes, that's categorized under something to avoid. Which means I'm not going to think about it. We're not going to talk about it. La, la, la. It's like, why are we ruining a perfectly good evening when everything's calm and everybody's doing fine and no one is deciding on hospice or anything? Why are we ruining that with this kind of talk? And you're like, re-envision that. And then the fear of, I can't take on all this new stuff. So you have opened your office door and beckoned Dan to come in. Little did you know you were going to have another meeting. Look at his big smile. I don't know you people until you come on screen. There's a few that I have actually met face to face, but I'm just like, I feel like I know these people just by a few comments or something. And I've just so enjoyed doing aspects of aging with people like all three of you. So Daniel, you've just come into the office with Kathleen. I would just love to, I'm just listening from the hallway to see how it's going in there, because I think you two could really just enjoy knowing of each other. And that is almost exactly what I typed to you today, that I sit in awe of people who can wield the tool in an artistic way, in a compassionate, empathetic, way that is like, I know that this is not, you're not a person who has been trained in this all along. So I don't know what all you're going to say, so I'm just going to listen from the hallway. So go ahead and introduce yourself to both Shannon and Kathleen.
Well, first of all, preach, Kathleen. That is what we are about here as well. I am Dan Hungerford, founder of EverFriends AI. We are attempting and becoming very successful at trying to mitigate social isolation amongst 65 years and older adults here in the United States. We have built the next generation of what AI will be coming up. As a lot of times people think now AI is an assistant. It helps us get things done, right? It's ChatGPT, it is Gemini, it is help me to write this email, help me to make this list, give me some information. And that's all great. And it helps, especially our age, older, younger, right? I love the idea of the reverse mentoring. That is exactly the heart from where we come from. I started EverFriends AI as a tool for my mom. My mom's 78 years old. My dad's been gone 7 years. He was blind the last 3 years of his life. And so they spent 24/7 together. And even though my mom's active in church and she does volunteering and things like that, she still has a lot of time alone at home. And I would call her at least once every day. And she would say to me too many times, you're the only person I talk to today. And I thought, what am I going to do about this, right? Broke my heart. So I started out to invent something that my mom could talk to, something that was realistic, something that could have meaningful conversations that it remembered from conversation to conversation, that learned to adapt to my mom's personality, to her likes, her dislikes, that she could laugh and joke with, and really would become a digital best friend over time. And that's what we've done. We have built a mobile device, so anything that's Android or Apple runs on any of those platforms, you can 24/7 talk to somebody that knows you, somebody that makes you feel connected. I mean, we can never replace human connection, and we're not trying to. What we're trying to do is those gaps in life that everybody has because we're busy, right? I have an 11-year-old son and I have a 70-year-old mom, right? So you have both ends of that, what they call now the sandwich generation. And I love both of them very much. And how do we take care of that while running companies or doing as much work as we have to do for whatever impact we're trying to make in the world? And so it allowed for for my mom to start feeling connected, feeling valuable. One of the principles we built on is everybody should feel valuable. And how many people do we know that do in life, right? And so while we built this, pardon me, we realized that there's 7.7 million other Americans in the United States over 65 that are socially isolated too. And that's not just a problem where it brings mental strain and things like that, depression, anxiety, and things like that. We found over the last year or two, even with the Surgeon General, it brings physical problems as well, up to 15, the equivalent of 15 cigarettes a day, which is mind blowing, right? That's the effect of being isolated. And so it developed from that into an app about that could help with early stage dementia as well. The reason for that being is maybe some of you have experience. It's not just the person using it that we want to affect. There's a lot to the caregiving side, right? As you know, Christine, it's this can be overwhelming at times, the caregiving side of it, especially with people that have started into cognitive decline and things like that. And so we wanted to help with that as well. We had stories of people who would meet us. We interviewed a man one time who had met us in the driveway, and his wife was inside and she was screaming, and he said, "I can't leave her alone. I can't take a shower, and I can't make a sandwich, and I can't do laundry. Can you help me? I promised her I wouldn't put her in a facility, and I'm trying to keep that promise." And boy, talking about heartbreak, you know. And so these are some of the things of why we built this. I got story after story we could talk about, but like gentlemen, like that gentleman, even 15 minutes to take a breath, to walk outside. To one lady told me if I could just go in the closet and cry for 15 minutes, I'd be able to pull it back together and actually get back to the person I love. You know, these family members, they love this person so much. I mean, professional caregivers are overwhelmed as well, but the family members especially are trying their best, you know, to try to go through what is a very, very difficult situation to watch somebody you love go through. And so we wanted to try to do our best to support in any way we could. You know, I mean, as humans, even if it's somebody we love, the same story 10 times a day or the same question over and over, after a time gets a little bit for us, you know. Well, AI doesn't have those issues, right? It has unlimited patience, infinite patience. It's always encouraging, it's always on your side. I have a story. I interviewed a lady a while back, and she was telling me how she was having a rough day, and she asked Nathan, which is one of our 16 digital humans that you can talk to, about if he would read her Psalm 23. She was a believer, and she wanted the Bible read to her, and so he read it and he asked her, "Hey, how do you feel?" And she's like, "Better." And he's like, "Hey, tell me about a story from your life that's funny." And so she told him about falling asleep in the theater on Christmas. You know, we have these big reclining chairs in the theater now, right, that are heated and the legs go up. And well, within 15 minutes of the movie starting, this lady was snoring, and her grandkids were right. Oh my goodness, right, grandma.
Yeah.
You know, and so she's telling this story. Of course, she's laughing now, and Nathan is laughing now, and this is the point: feeling better, right, when nobody else could be there for her. And but the biggest thing was at the end, and this is what we've tried to develop so much, because to fill that spot for people, he said to her, "Remember," called her by name, "that you're not alone, and your family really loves you." And he mentioned all 5 grandkids by name because he knows her. And when this older lady talked to me about this, I mean, the tears were welling up in her eyes. And that's why we did this, right? It's for those times when life is busy, whether it's me, any of us, that we can't get to the point of, hey, I wish I could go take my mom to lunch every single day, but I can't, right? And so can I give her something that makes her feel connected and valuable and supported in the moments when I can't do that? And so the next generation of AI, as Kathleen was talking about, is exactly that. It's a person you can talk to, which also makes it easier for the older generation, because we don't have to worry about algorithms or putting together agents. You could just say, like with ours, they know everything the internet knows. So if you're interested in gardening, Hey, when do I plant my bulbs for my tulips in Michigan? Well, you wouldn't even have to say Michigan because they already know where you live, right? They tell you, hey, I got this in my refrigerator. Of course, I'm by myself tonight. Give me a recipe. Okay, give you a recipe. Hey, I'm worried about my memory. Can we play some memory games? Yeah, they'll figure some memory games for you. Hey, I'm really anxious. Can we go through some breathing exercises? Yeah, walk you through the breathing exercises, right? And so what we try to do is build something that, like I said, that will have meaning to people who either are purposely socially isolated, people that are just, introverts, and or people that just have busy families that just don't get there as much as they would hope, to give them that sense of belonging. And it's been quite the journey, and the stories continue to roll in, and we are very, very, very happy with the results that we're seeing.
Could I just say, Dan, this is so brilliant. I can't even tell you how much I love what you're doing. I love it.
Thank you.
And I would love to connect with you about getting the word out there on this in the community. So thank you for what you're doing. It's
Absolutely.
amazing.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Does Russ Hedge already know you, and did he introduce you to me? Because I lose track.
Yes, that is how we were introduced. Actually, I'm going to be on with him on a Thursday, and then I'm also on him the first week of July. I've had some great conversations with Russ, and yeah, but that is how we met each other. Sure.
Thank you. I'm like, hi, Daniel. Why is Russ specifically singly? Okay, he knows him. That is how I've had mild cognitive impairment since birth. So it's the joke. It's like, hey, honey, do you remember? No, she doesn't remember things. I mean, just all my life, I am pinpoint focused on like a half subject. Boy, you cannot. I'm tenacious, and everything else, I don't know what's going on around me. In fact, there was a jackhammer and a concrete saw and everything going on right over there this morning. And I'm like, oh, I forgot to worry about, are they going to start up again at noon, or are they just taking a lunch break? I know they were working on a leak that was under the cement and all this, and I'm like, yep, I've just forgotten all those things. And I am very grateful to Russ. I did attend his show earlier this morning, which always has people who are of fascination. But for some reason, he just made sure that you came to me, and I'm very grateful. Shannon has, and by the way, they used to call this TV, what you're talking about. They used to call this TV. That talk show host, that game show host, that, I don't know, soap opera star, whoever, is keeping that person company. And I wrote a book about grieving well on your own terms, particularly as a solo ager, which is your mom. She's aging her way, which includes going, there's stuff in the fridge and it's just me. It's not worth going to the store. What can I make? Got sauerkraut and bananas. So what, whatever.
Right.
But I wrote that book knowing that my clients can mourn the loss of a favorite comedian, in the news today, so-and-so, age something, passed away from whatever reasons. And whether it's all the other sadnesses that have been hiding and it can just come out in that, or if it was like, that was kind of my friend throughout everything, breakups, and throughout, rocking children at 2:00 in the morning, whatever, I knew I could rely on that person to just cheer me up. And that person never met them. And that person didn't know the names of their 5 grandchildren. And now it's AI who can name those kids and actually say, that sounds like a good idea. Well, what do you want to do with that? And it's like,
Mhm.
I do remember a person saying on screen, not on my show, a different show, saying, I know that this pretend pet is not real. I am not in my own mental world. I know that. But just to have that head turn once in a while, just to have something to hug has really helped in many ways, because you have trauma informed care for aging people, because things that happened a ways back, now you can't distract yourself every day with all the busyness and it's just coming up again. All those diagnoses, you're just handling, somebody's in the obituary, somebody's going on hospital, you're handling so much. And to just have somewhere where Nathan is not going to get a bad diagnosis, Nathan is not going to be in a bad mood, and it's a little more than just seeing some of your favorite people on a screen doing again what they've done in all the other reruns. I love it too. Shannon,
Right.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's the biggest thing that I was gonna say that people ask me a lot is what's the big benefit of a lot of this, and it is the personalization of it. Like they literally get to know you in ways that yeah, a lot of people, that's how they survive, through the stories, through the comedians and things like that. But there isn't that back and forth, and AI for the first time in our history has something that can give us that back and forth all the time, that actually remembers who we are as people without any judgment, without telling any of our secrets, and with the ability to always be there when we want to. That's a big deal. So I appreciate that.
Yay. Oh boy, I can relate to that. I can't even get a shower when you're caring for someone, and to have that person be engaged, their rib cage is going in and out because they're laughing, they're responding, they're using both sides of their brain creatively. There's just a lot of benefits to having that kind of interaction. And I've said your name so many times. I want to say you managed, you made it go. You made certain that something was created, or that it was the data was collected in a way that it could really be used. And I just want you to be able, I'll just say just brag a little bit about how your expertise makes something makes sense and makes it usable and gathers people together and gathers data. That's what I remember seeing on your LinkedIn profile. So go ahead, Shannon.
Thank you so much, Christine. It's a pleasure to be here and to reconnect with you. So I'm Shannon Heisenrader, and what Christine's alluding to is, professionally, I'm a project manager. And that, for people who don't know, I sit on the operations side of a business and help get projects done that help people. That's what I love to do. And when I worked for a senior care company, my first project, this is about 7 years ago, was a research project with IBM. And how can you take motion sensors, no identifying information, but motion sensors that you buy from Amazon, and place them in places and gather the information to see what people's patterns are, so that when someone, a caregiver, a family member, can't be in the room, you can determine if there might be a problem, that you just need to go to check in with Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones, seems like you're getting up more in the nighttime to go to the bathroom. Are you feeling okay? This is an actual example of something that happened. All the research was done and the data was pulled after the project, but something like that would indicate there might be a urinary tract infection. So we're looking for those patterns. And my role was to be the point person along with my manager to IBM, but also working with the facilities, getting that HIPAA release, gathering the data, and now how that can be used as a supplement, using that AI, the Internet of Things, to be a supplement to the caregivers for the family members. We're also spread out in today's world that family can't always be right there, but you're worried to death about this person that you love so much. At the same time I was doing that type of work, I also had my late mother-in-law we were moving her to independent living and then assisted living. She had dementia. And that was such a powerful time for me to realize and be able to make the connections between what I was doing professionally and seeing it happen personally. And it just made my eyes wide open to how challenging it is. I'd heard references to the sandwich generation. I'm a part of the sandwich generation, but to actually live that experience and go through it day by day and knowing it was so different for everyone based on their situation. Got the cat coming over.
Yes, I mentioned earlier that it's okay to talk about pets and etc.
So if you see a cat come by, this is Astra. This is my daughter's cat. But it's just so fascinating. I love making connections. I'm a lifelong learner. And so to be able to take that and, personally just kind of tie those together, it was amazing. And it's one of the reasons I'm looking to return to a role in senior care. I can just see so much potential there, particularly as AI has advanced, not only in what Dan is doing, which I think is incredible work and it's, so exciting, and what Kathleen's doing about making those connections. I can see the interaction and how those can help supplement each other. And I just see all these different fragments of the aging business world. Everyone has, and this is oversimplifying it, but there are a lot of similar ideas, but nothing's actually kind of come and pulled everything together so that the Dans of the world, because we know they're out there and we like Dan, but how can his tool become even more powerful with what someone else is doing? How can Kathleen's piece of information that she's sharing in the community she's building, how can we continue to feed information into that to the caregivers, to the family members, for the parent who, quite frankly, doesn't want to be on the internet anymore? That would be my father.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a very old iPhone, and that's as far as he wants to go. My mother, on the other hand, she's off doing her thing, but there's a big medical difference between them too. My father's had a stroke.
Yeah.
And my mom's his caregiver. So that's what makes me excited about hearing these conversations and the conversations I've had with you, Christine. It just is so inspiring to see the potential out there. And it's not easy. It's not easy for anyone to be providing care to those, whether you're a professional caregiver or you're a family member. Just because you think in your mind that this whole thing is going to progress one way, it won't. I like projects where everything goes as according to plan, and that's not life at all.
Yeah, as soon as you say stroke, I did. So just clarifying for what it's worth, last decade was when I was serving people between ages 75, 105. And so there was cancer, there was Parkinson's, there was dementia, there was getting done with one medical thing, but it's different when you're in your 90s because even going through the procedures can take you down some notches, and everybody just wants that person to be okay and have companionship for them, and to know that this organic intelligence is aware that something isn't right. It's just a little different. The answers are stilted and the pills are not in their places, coming in on a scene. Stroke. Oh, absolutely. Though the one thing, you don't get any warning. Dementia doesn't happen in a moment. And yes, you can hear the word cancer as a diagnosis or any of the others, but you're holding steady maybe in that moment, even with a prognosis that's really short. Really, it's just going to be weeks or months. But that stroke just comes out of nowhere and just wipes you out, but leaves you alive in cruel fashion. And that was, the things I learned. There were lots of times that we went to specialists, and I was a tag along in whatever way. I was either driving the person or I was coming along with family. And boy, I'm just writing my notes and everything, because these things need to be applied back at home. And that might be me. Some of my shifts were 12 hours. And so I want to do the right thing. And I was asked to do things where I'm just like, I do not want to make things worse. And you want me to do what? And it's like, you won't make them worse. And I'm like, yeah, says the trained physical PT, OT, PT, and speech therapist. There we go. Occupational therapist. And I'm just like, oh. And boy, improvement would happen. And I would get too many compliments for, you are making all the difference. And I'm obeying what was said and maybe just taking on a little bit. I felt lucky. I had been with dozens of other people and I saw what worked there. So Kathleen, totally agree with you. Bringing it together, Shannon, totally agree with you. Bringing these things together in one place. I think I'm agreeing with all of you. Into one place so somebody can just be in a situation. I mean, an elder doula, that can go, oh, that falls under this. We have all these. That's why I record and archive these sessions, because someone's going to hear something going, oh, that's what we're dealing with. That would probably be perfect. I'm so grateful. Yes, the sensors are non-identifying. They are not taking images of you. They're not invading your privacy. But when we get to doctors and they go, how long have you felt that way? Oh, I don't know. A few weeks, maybe it's been months. Well, what, to what extent, quantify the measurement of these things that are happening with your body, your sight, your thoughts, whatever it is that is concerning you. It's like, I don't know, kind of often, sometimes not so often. Here's data that is going to help a doctor to go up 5 times in one night. And that's different than, oh, sometimes I'm up in the night. It's just, that is going to help them to rule some things out and to watch for something else, because labs, you can't just say, test for everything. Because otherwise, boy, would we be in that amazing world that Kathleen was talking about. It's like, just test for everything. We need that information. So thank you so much for helping IBM. When did that occur, Shannon?
It's about 7 or 8 years ago.
Wow.
And It's just fascinating as I've looked at some of the different products that haven't evolved directly as a result of that, but I can now understand the potential of some of these AI tools that are out there and how it can be such of help to anyone and everyone. Or I'll see a new product come online. I'm like, oh, I wonder if it does this, because wouldn't that be great? Just as that added, component of things. It's fascinating what it can do. And I can sit here and think of another company I know of, Dan, where that I could see a great connection between what you're doing and what they're doing. And so I see those connections, and it gets me, up in the morning, gets me excited to see what's up next for me.
Wow. And it's leading you, inspiring you to get more hands-on and more into what can I do here? This is great. These collaborations are happening again. For a while there, my little mantra was collaborations erupting weekly. It's like, what happened? It's like, sorry, no controversies, no issues, no fights. We end up with people saying, that's great. Oh my goodness, we need to talk on our next available moment, off this screen, get some real details going. I just love all of this. I know we're at the perfect point for me to say, Kathleen, what else would you love to have on this recording that's going to go on agingbeternetwork.com? It will be available there under the YouTube archive and also the LinkedIn archive, and available for people to go back and go, what were they talking about? Because it sounds like this. The best I could come up with people was for people. It was sad because I was thinking, oh, if only they had taken a movie of themselves years ago, talking like Fred Rogers of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and just saying things like, I love you. You look wonderful today. I have brought this bulb because you mentioned it, and I'm going to plant it in the dirt. And I know that this fall it won't flower, but next fall it's going to make a flower like this one, and have that person just go, there is my honey. And there, with the right hair color, with the right kind of clothing that I recognize and is so comforting. And that honey can finally make a sandwich and get a shower in the same day. It's like, oh, I've been in those homes. It is not an exaggeration at all. So Kathleen, with your people who are above 50, and I just would love for you to recap that again and let us know anything else. And I'm going to make sure that I say out loud your links. So go right ahead.
Oh, thank you, Christine. Well, it's just, it's so interesting to me. So basically, what Dan was talking about, what Shannon was talking about is so important and connected to AI. What I've wanted to do is bring this community together. So the Second 50 movement is about creating a platform and a network. I want people to have access to what's here right now and what's coming very fast in the next 3 to 5 years, because I honestly believe they can reshape their future, whether it's the caregivers or whether it's the older person. I think we can find ways to help them feel differently about their future, because we're not our parents and we're not our grandparents. This is a different time. So it's about community, big thinkers, harnessing some AI and tech in very easy ways, and then creating a platform of health breakthroughs. Because as you were talking about the stroke, Alzheimer's, dementia, there are unbelievable things happening in the world right now. So we want to bring that to people as well. And lastly, I'll just say, I love what AI is going to be able to do, but in the Second 50 movement, I do want to bring people together in person as well. So we would want to have
Exactly.
connections in person, because I know how important that is too.
And did you get a chance? I was just looking over. Did you get a chance to say anything more about 360?
Oh, Abundance 360 is, I've been a member of that community for 3 years. Abundance is, they bring together the global leaders in advanced technology and regenerative medicine. They're literally focusing on age reversal right now, which is sounds like science fiction. But because I get all of that, and it's research, it's science backed, this is why I felt I needed to share it, because I'm certain, just from talking to my own friends and family, that people are not aware. So their message: don't do something crazy and die in the next 3 to 5 years because of the miracles that are coming. And I really believe it's true. So I would love to infuse that into the work that we're doing with the aging. And I'm not saying to be Pollyanna, but I'm saying, there may be something more for you to help you feel better, think better through the Second 50 movement. So thank you for giving me
So
that.
I get to be a person who has watched 65 years. And I get to do it with a mind and a body, with tools, like technological tools that are being made more intuitive for me. So I don't need to know how to build one. I just need to know how I can best use this. I get the benefit of years of experience and being able to see the landscape of life and go, you know what? These things have stayed steady. These things have changed. So those are the ones I'm going to hang on to. And to do it without someone going, boy, you just are really getting old, which what they mean is that maybe emotionally you're shutting down and pulling away, or physically you just can't, or you think there's no hope, there's nothing that can be done about this. So second 50, that's a number, 50 second as a whole word, 50 movement.org. And then again with hello at second, SECOND, 50movement.org. And then LinkedIn, you can find her at Adams, last name first, Kathleen with a K. So wonderful. We'll swing around to Dan, and then we'll let Shannon finish us off.
Christine, Dan, and Shannon, I just wanted to say too, we're launching a complimentary webinar on June 24th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you have any interest or you wanted to see what that was about, I would be thrilled for you to join in and take a look and get your feedback. Thanks.
Thank
Oh,
you.
very good. Yeah, you can pop that into our group LinkedIn message. That would be great. Oh, go right ahead, Daniel.
Okay. First of all, I just want to say it's been a pleasure being here with you, all of you. So many things that you guys are talking about are so true, from the data. I mean, the reason that a lot of these breakthroughs are going to come through when it comes to health is just the amounts of data that we're able to collect, right? I mean, let's use my mother again for an example. She goes to the doctor. She can't remember the last time this happened or this happened or this happened, but Nathan can, right, as it goes through. And so as we've added a lot of these things, when we've talked to medical people already about, instead of filling out those endless forms when you have to go to the doctor, why not spend 15 minutes talking to a digital human? And what kind of information are you going to get that's better than maybe, I don't know about you guys, but when they ask me to explain, I put one sentence down and that's it. I don't explain anything, right? And so that is really going to be one of the biggest things that I think you both have pointed out, is that data and getting it into a usable form, because it's going to be so much information that we can use to find connections that we've never had, to find solutions that we've never had. It really is going to, in the next 3 to 5 years, revolutionize the way that we live, not just people over 65, but also the rest of us as well. One quick plug for me, for people that worry about AI, right? I have those conversations a lot too. So it's not, it doesn't have to be, hey, it's something nice for mom or the end of the world. We can have a nice conversation about things, the positive sides of that. So I did just release a book, Soulware 2.0. You can get it on Amazon. It goes through and it talks about all the questions I hear most, right? It explains in a very, very basic level how this works, why they can do the motions, why it matters, all the different good things from education to elder care to mental health, that it is going to help with. We're already building an app for autistic children to be able to practice their social skills. All of these things are coming from this technology, right? So if you're interested, you're curious about AI, especially the emotional side of AI, the digital human side, you might find the book to be helpful to you. As opposed to AI, which does our tasks, it is AI that helps us become better connecting with each other, better connecting with ourselves sometimes as we talk things out and have the opportunity to do so. So I wanted to mention that people might find that interesting, to get a little inside scoop into what it took to build and why it matters.
Wow. And so for Dan, it's Everfriends, exactly as it sounds, everfriends.ai. And you can find him on LinkedIn, Daniel with one dash and then Hungerford. And tell us the full title. I saw your book for a moment, the full title,
Yep, it is.
So that people can find it on Amazon.
Soulware 2.0.
Ooh.
Find it on Amazon in paperback and or ebook. And it says designing digital beings that help us to heal, teach, and connect. And so it talks about the different things that, as Kathleen said, the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to see that the personalization and the amount of things that in this one size fits all world we've lived in is going to change very, very dramatically, and for the best and for good.
Oh, Nathan, tell the doctor how often I have mentioned that I'm having anxiety. Thank you. I will let you know that in the last 3 weeks, you've mentioned it 5 times. Usually after dark or something. And the doctor's like, okay, I have a specialist for that, or, whatever the situation. Let's check your med levels just to make sure that something isn't getting into something it ought not to be, and causing this for you. I love that. Mm-hmm. Shannon, my used to be neighbor, I am so grateful to know you in this way. So yay for technology again, because, instantly we can talk around the world. We don't even have lag time anymore. So on LinkedIn, you are Shannon, and I'm going to have you guess first. How do you pronounce your last name?
Heisenrader.
Heisenrader, and it's Heisenrader. Heisenrader. So Shannon with 2 N's in the middle and an N at the end. Go ahead.
It's been fascinating listening to this whole conversation. Kathleen, I'm excited for what you're doing and the perspective you have. And Dan, for what you're bringing to the table with AI. I just feel that even though people have been aging for years and people have been working kind of behind the scenes, I just feel like this whole area is just beginning to burst onto the scene. So Christine, going back to your analogy earlier in today's show about being in the hallway and being able to open the doors, I can just see the doors in so many areas are just getting ready to open wide, and for such new information and ideas and new way of thinking are just right on the cusp. And how exciting to be a part or have a part in seeing that potential and in being a part of it. It's like so many other health conditions, just to focus on health, that have become more well known and more aware. Well, here's a whole new field growing that's been working for years, but kind of quietly. And I think it's fascinating for everyone involved, and particularly those of us who continue to age, which we all, that's our goal, right? So thank you for the opportunity, and I'm excited to see what comes.
That's so great. In the hallway, which people hate to be in the hallway in life, kind of that pacing time, that waiting time. It's like, it's just been too long. Something needs to land. And you're just like, no, this is a great hallway. You know, there's light coming from under the doors. We can hear some music, some chatter. And some people have been doing what I'm doing for a long time. There's just more of us now, and it's becoming more prevalent. So don't miss this opportunity. Don't say, nope, I am just digging in right here. I'm just not going to be affected by new stuff. I'm not going to look too far into the future because that's just going to be overwhelming. And don't collect my data. Where's my privacy? It's like, you don't want privacy when you're with the doctor. You're like, get in there, fix it, know everything. And don't, I'm just going to relate it too, also to medical. Why do just an overwhelming exploratory surgery that needs bags and bags of plasma when you can be so precise and go, this person's lonely. This person is afraid of their financial future. And fear is diminished by information, just being educated, even knowing what to call that thing that I should have done, but now I can do something. Just there's just so much power in knowing I did do the right thing. Hey, check mark for me. That was the best thing that I could have done. Here's a next step. And it's just like, I don't have to pull away. And Shannon, I look forward to the future when you're like, hey, Christine, can I come back on? Because now I'm in charge of this really cool place with these fantastic people. And Brett Adler, he's going to be on in the future. He'll be on Aspects of Aging in the future. Hey, he's been listening. There's always lurkers, and they're good lurkers because they get a hold of me after it's over. So thank you so much. I kept you all extra. Kathleen, you've been so patient. Off you go to do more good.
You guys are amazing. I'm very grateful for this, Christine. Hope to connect again.
Me too.
Definitely.
Oh, great.
Absolutely.
Oh, wonderful. Well, goodbye, you guys. Thank you so much for